Hello, I'm Otto, and welcome back to Dyson Sphere program. So in the last episode, we finished filling in our smelting section and the components section. We also got rid of the dark fog on the planet, at least temporarily. Took that out, it was over here somewhere. We also continued working on the mall, and we're pretty much done with it, but there's a couple things that we will be adding to later. This episode is largely going to be focused on oil production, and hopefully we'll get around to the red science, the energy matrix. Also, at the end of the last episode, I did notice that I already had some miners over here. I ended up adding one here, so I have since removed that, and I moved the matrix slabs that were here over to the section here. For the Depot Mark II, I'll probably just add it in. Like, it doesn't really matter where they are, and once we get a few other things on the bus, then it won't really matter at all. Let's take a look at what some of those things are. So obviously we have the Depot Mark II, this will be on there, and then we have the Logibots, the logistics bots. So this, in my opinion, is kind of the start, or what separates maybe early game from mid game. It's not quite the start of mid game. What most people consider to be the start of mid game is when you start unlocking the planetary logistics and interstellar logistics systems, the PLS and the ILS. Pretty much once you get to those, you are definitely in the early mid game. I kind of consider the start of mid game to be with the bots though, because this just is a much smaller version of what these two are, and a lot more localized than these two. These both are kind of planet-wide and obviously interstellar-wide, but this one also acts as planet-wide. This one is a little bit smaller in range, but that's okay. It's really not that bad. That's also part of why we are making a lot of the things that we're making kind of closer together, so that we can have better access to a lot of things. So anyway, so that's one thing that is on the horizon. For that, though, we need to unlock the magnetic levitation. So that's this guy here. And for this, we need also red science. We also want to unlock the proliferator. So I'm actually going to queue this up, and the processor. The processor is pretty big, both in size of research and in terms of kind of like what it's used for. So there's a lot of things that use the processor, and it is kind of a little bit of a pain to make on this planet because of the semiconductors needing silicone, but yeah, it is what it is. I tend to prefer to make these off planet and bring them here. There's a couple different things we could do, but we do need to unlock this to get to the second proliferator. We are going to be using the first one a little bit. It's generally considered not to be that good of an idea to use it early, but most people try to gung-ho right to the Proliferator Mk1, but we will be using this for a little bit. What are we going to be using it on? We're going to be using it on our sciences and some of the components that go into the science. So I have a little bit of an idea, a little bit of a setup that we're going to do, and that starts now with oil processing. So for oil processing, we need oil. So I do have an oil seep here and an oil seep here. I also need some power for myself. Still working on coal power. That's fine. That will be taken care of soon enough. So let's get one of these down and one of these down. So we're going to need roughly, probably about 6 oil per second. And this is almost 5. So the 2 won't do, but we can't just add 1 more. I do want to add 2 more. So thankfully there are 2 up here kind of close to each other. I'm actually going to start running a belt up there. That way we can kind of aim a little bit easier. I love these things. These battlefield analysis station things are pretty awesome. Go bots, go, yes. Okay, so I'm gonna head, like I said, this is going in this direction. We will reverse it once it is crafted. There we go. And we we have 2 more here. Actually, I think I want to drag this up this way. And this will need some power. And reverse this. Reconnect. That's kind of a pain. I wish when you reversed it, it just did not do that, but whatever. It is what it is. So I'm going to take this back, and we do not need these. That's fine. Okay, so this is 3, this is 3. So basically we have like 11-ish. That is plenty, because these will... They will kind of like depreciate over time. They're giving us... Those are giving us 3 per second now, but you can see... Maybe not. Yeah, that one went from 3.0996 to 3.0995 into 4. So it does lower over time, and I think the lowest that it gets is 0.1 per second. I've never really paid attention to it that much, because generally by the time it starts to matter, we have started to kind of tap the galaxy of its oil, so it's not really that big of a deal. And you don't really need that much oil anyways. There are better ways of getting your hydrogen and your what you call it, the refined oil. So yeah, is that gonna work? It is. Nice. Okay, so all of these are going to kind of merge together. So this one is going to come out this way. We're going to have to do... I don't want to have this one come down in this way. I want to use a lot of the space, I think. So I'm going to bring this out a little bit, and we're going to hit up and see if we can kind of spaghetti drag it out here. We can. Awesome. And let's get some more of these to line up with. We are also at a tropics line, so we could have some issues here. Okay, I'll just go ahead and talk about it now. So what do I mean by we could have some issues? Slap a couple of those down for just because. So you may have noticed that we've been placing 2 assemblers in between the wind turbines. So as you start to get closer to the tropics, yeah, so this is a perfect example. The first one that I can place is here, and I cannot place one next to it. Technically, it should line up here. That is because, believe it or not, the wind turbines actually do have an awkward hitbox. You can actually place these. Let's use this as an example. So this is the tightest that we're going to get on this side of this tropics. If I wanted to actually use this, I would make sure that the legs are facing in like this, and then that will allow us to do this. So you can kind of see I cannot place it here, but I did place it here because of the legs being spun around. That's just something to consider. I think we might have to deal with that in a minute anyways, so you know what, might as well just kind of get it out of the way and be like, oh, hey, look here, you're gonna have to deal with this problem. Anyways, so we have oil, yes. So for oil production, we need oil refineries. I don't think that I'm going to place this right on this line. I think... Should I? I think I'm going to go down one. I remember this being a little bit of a problem. Yeah, so we're going to do it like that. And we're going to have 6 wide. And then we're going to have 2 spaces in the middle. Like that. And then another 6. Oil is going to come through here. And actually, like, I'm not really that big of a fan of buffering, but we are going to make this easy on ourselves and buffer this a little bit. It just makes kind of connecting all these simpler, and they kind of like, it's almost like a splitter. They just kind of evenly all kind of go in. We will certainly need to buffer the hydrogen and the refined oil though. So other areas that I do like having buffers is with the sciences. So we are going to be buffering the sciences, and the reason why is because if you are making a certain amount of science and you're not consuming it at all times, then it's often better to have a little bit of a buffer and then more researching units, let's say, because, you know, different games have different names, but different, like, more researching units than you actually need. That way you can maybe save up a little bit and then drop a lot all at the same time. So this is going to be our oil, and then we are going to have another line here. So what do we need this line for? Let's actually take a look at the recipe, because there's a couple of different things here. One, we have crude oil coming in. Two, you can see that there are multiple recipes, but we are only focusing on the top one. This is just kind of showing that there's alternate ways of getting reinforced, the refined oil. Heavy oil, I guess you could say. Or maybe this is the heavy oil and this is the light oil. I don't know, whatever. And then hydrogen. So you can see that there's at least 4 different ways to get the hydrogen. There's actually more than this. There's also mining it from a gas giant, which is not on here, but that is not a big deal. So there's multiple ways to get hydrogen. There's a couple of ways to get the refined... Wow. Yes, refined oil. Refined. I'm never going to remember to call this refined oil. Anyways. So, looking at the top recipe, you can see that we need to bring in 2 crude oil over 4 seconds, or 1 every 2 seconds, or 0.5 every 1 second if you would. And our belts can move 6 per second, so that means that we have the availability to use 12 of these to consume a full belt of crude oil. And we have the same amount of oil coming in as we have refined oil going out, so we will also have a full belt of refined oil leaving, and then half a belt of hydrogen going out. So the hydrogen is mostly what we're aiming for, so we're going to have to store the refined oil for a bit. And we haven't had to deal with this yet, but this is the first time that we've had multiple items coming out of a machine. So we're also going to have, a belt here to remove one of them, and then we're actually going to bring belts right down the middle, like this. These will connect there, and these will connect there. So the way that we do that is, okay, so we have crude oil coming in to the machines. And then going out from this one, you can see that there is a filter right before we place it. And we can tab through this. So we're going to be placing hydrogen on this line. And then same for this one. On the bottom, we're going to be adding hydrogen. And then up here, we will do the refined oil, and refined oil. There. I'm also going to copy this and just paste this in before we do other stuff. So I've set all 4 of these up. Okay, I missed one. So I've set all 4 of these up, and I'm going to use these to kind of shift and place onto their respective slots. The front left and the front right. There we go. And then we will also be adding in storage for these guys. You will have a lot more than double, but we're going to go ahead and double up on the refined oil. We do obviously make 2 of these for every 1 of the hydrogen, but it is going to be like this for now. Okay, and that is our oil processing complete. Not that bad, I must say. Alright, so for the red science, you can see that we need hydrogen, and we also need the energetic graphite. So for energetic graphite, we need coal. Thankfully, we have a little bit of coal right here, so we're going to tap into this. We don't need... I'm going to go ahead and get 2 belts worth, so I'm going to get 24. I'm going to attempt to get 24. I could literally do this all day. I like to really squeeze things in and nitpick. Okay, let's just get this episode going. So there's one there. That is not going to fit. That'll fit. I kind of want to prep for the next belts, but maybe not at the moment. Oh, actually, I think if I can, sick. Okay, so we're gonna go up through there, and I think because of how tight it is, I might have to go up with this one. Yeah, we'll figure that out in a second. And then we need some power. There we go. Yeah, I don't think that I'm gonna have enough room for 2, but maybe. Hold on. So if I do this, let's say, is that gonna give me enough room? Let's just do it like this. So we're gonna have 6 of these. Now we're gonna be overproducing the graphite just a little bit. That's perfectly fine. Let's do 2, and I'm gonna need 2 of something else, and then 2 of these. So this is gonna be graphite. This is also going to be graphite. These will end up being diamonds, and then these will be our proliferators. So I'm going to have Proliferator 1 here. And how am I going to work this out? So I'm going to need 2 coal. I am going to need 2 coal. So we're going to need 2 coal coming in. And one of these will go down to at least here. I don't think I need it to continue after. And then the graphite can come around over here and squeeze by our products over here. Okay. This is going to be weird, but we're going to have these come down because we need the graphite for the diamonds. So if we take a look at the diamonds, what we need red science for, 1 energetic graphite in 2 seconds creates 1 diamond. The diamond is for the Mark II proliferator. So the first one just needs coal, and then the second one needs the first proliferator and a diamond. So that is why we are setting this up like this. Now to see if we can get the 2 coal in here. That one will go like that. And the other one, I think we're going to have to go up and over, like I said. There. That will do. So this one's going in and out here. And we'll just copy and paste that. So this is going to be for our red science. And then from here, this will go in. And I think we're going to have this come out here. Like that. So that is Proliferator 1. We will go ahead and put a sorter into what will eventually be the Proliferator 2. The diamonds for the Proliferator 2. And Proliferator 1. They can actually both just come out through here. So we're going to have this come out through here for now. Why do you not have power? Are we right in the middle? Can I move that? Nice. Okay, so this will be the Proliferator 1 for now, and then once we want to swap, we can just put the Proliferator 2 on this line instead and cut this off. That will work. So for the actual application of the Proliferator, wow, so difficult to say, I swear. We're going to need the spray coater, so I do not have any on me. I could add this to the bus, but again, I would have to add in the superconductors, the microcrystalline components. Gotta love the names on some of these. 9 is probably enough, and we'll be crafting that for a bit. Okay, so typically with the proliferators, it's always nice to kind of proliferate the proliferators. I really don't care with the Mark 1. We will do it with the Mark 2, so I'm not too concerned at the... you know what? Let's... yeah, sure, I guess. We're going to be using it anyways, right? So let's... maybe do it here. How do I want to do this? Nope, I want this to be the other direction. Yeah, that'll be fine. So now we can go up to here and through and then down and back through. Yeah, it's pretty janky, but this will now fill up with proliferator and then it will proliferate the proliferators. So what does the proliferator do? The proliferator, let's see how many times we can say it in this episode, makes it so that when all the items in a machine have proliferator, it creates additional products. That's one option. The other option is to speed up the process of crafting whatever it is. Generally, the extra products is considered to be the best option. There are some cases where the speed bonus does actually outperform the extra materials, but the extra materials, sorry, the speed bonus actually, you end up using twice as many materials in the same amount of time, and feeding those materials to the machines is often a complete nightmare and a pain in the butt. So just go with the extra items. It's better. Okay, so I don't think we're gonna have to keep this pretty tight. I should have maybe done this a different way. Anyways, not a big deal. So we have all of the components that we need for sciences now. We have hydrogen over here. We have graphite here. We've got our magnetic coils and circuits for our blue science. So we are going to set that up now. Sure. Okay, so for the sciences, in my experience, one of the best ways to kind of manage this is going to be the blue. So you start with this, and we have 3 of these. So this is making 1 per second. So our goal is to, in general, start with making 1 per second, and then over time we will add to these. Not necessarily to the side, but I'm not even going to really leave the option open for it to be on the side here. So we're going to have these come in, or this is going to be 3, and then eventually we will stack more of these on top. But all of the other sciences will be based off of this. As for how many matrix slabs you need to consume the science, it's generally a pretty good rule of thumb that however many you have on the blue is about how many you will need researching. So for instance, the red, we will actually double this. We will have 3 of these for the blue, and we will have 6 of them for the red, and then the yellow we would need 8. It's, can be pretty easy math. Sometimes it can be a little confusing for people. For the most part though, like in the late game as an example, I would do like 3 full stacks of blue or 6 full stacks of blue, and then base it off of that. So if we needed 3 blue, 6 red, 8 yellow, I would do 3 stacks of blue, 6 stacks of red, 8 stacks of yellow, and that just kind of evens it out. We will go into a lot of that, but actually I can show you at least the 2 for now. So we make 1 every 3 seconds, so that's where we get the 3 from. Plus we can stack the matrix labs up 3 times, so it just kind of works out to 1 per second for a single stack. So that's that. 0.3, 0.3, and 0.3 per second, or 0.33 per second. 3 of these, 1 second. There we go. And then the energy matrix is 1 every 6 seconds. So that is why we have 6. Just basically using it like that. And it just keeps the math a little bit more simple. So we're going to bring this down. Yeah, this is not going to work. That's fine. We will figure it out. Can I just move this? I can move this over. We're gonna have to do a little bit of snaking in here. That's all right. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna take the extra little bit of time, and I'm gonna redo this. I'm gonna figure this out. There is an easier, logical way to do this. Actually, I think it's just pointing the thing in this direction instead. There, that's way better. And before we actually get that connected, we are going to need to, we're going to need to add proliferators here. So we're going to place 2 here. This proliferator will come out and do whatever it needs to. Oh, please. Oh, whew. That would have been not a good day. All right, so we will just let it eventually come down over here. Because what we're going to do is we're going to drag this in this direction, and then we will give this a splitter and do something like this maybe. And then this will come in here, and then this can go into these. like this. But I don't want to place them just yet because I want to figure out where all of these are going to go. So we also need the red matrix slabs. Here's a good suggestion. It's always better to place however many towers you're going to place first on the base level, and then once you're done with all of your belts and sorters and all that kind of stuff, then add the extras on top. So yeah, just be careful about that. All right, this goes straight in, almost like I planned it that way. Red, red, and then we need to get this guy down. Nice. I did not mean to let them go through. I definitely want them to be proliferated, although it's really not that big of a deal for some of them to go through. Anyways, the proliferator, let's get these two here. And there we go. So the proliferator can go in first. And now we are definitely set up to allow the next proliferator to come through once we get it researched. So once these guys fill up a little bit more, I can help them along because I have some on me. There. And now we just need to hook everything up. And you can see on the side, oh yeah, some of them at least have the arrow. The arrow is an indicator of the proliferation. So one arrow is Mark 1, 3 arrows is Mark 3. And now we just need to okay. And these will come out on the outside. Alright, so I still need to proliferate the outgoing science as well. So these belts, these blank belts, are the ones for the science going out. I would also like to... we have the tropics line here. Let's... Yeah, we're just going to do science down here. I have run out of these, that is fine. We're actually right next to it, so... Okay, so I'm going to have the blue science coming down this way. Let's figure out where we're going to place the matrix labs first. I'm not sure if I want to place it on the tropics. I definitely don't want to place it on the tropics line, so we're just going to go ahead and do it. Do I have enough room to get in here? I do not. Alright, so we are going to have maybe 4 stacks. One is basically going to be effective, like pretty much like what we're creating. This will consume what we're creating. The other 4 will just be for like a buffer. We are also going to want a buffer for these. But I also need the proliferator. So we want to proliferate before buffing. It's going to be a little bit of a problem. We're going to go here instead. That way we can actually get the proper splitter that we want. This one. Otherwise we wouldn't be able to fit this next to it. So that goes in here. This is going to go up a level, and this is going to go up a level. Okay, and once these proliferators get something in them, then we will create our little buffer and open these guys up. Okay, so for as for a buffer, we want to place a splitter down and then just make sure that we can get a chest on top of it. So that is going to be our buffer for blue science. And the red will go here. And we're going to limit these to, let's start with 3 stacks. We might up this to like 5, maybe 10 later, but for now, 3 is going to be lots. That's 600 each. And then this can come out down here. So the red will go here and the blue here. Yep, that is how we're going to do that. Oh, I forgot about these things. Okay, so now we can start to hook these up because we have the proliferator, we have our buffer, and we will not be losing anything from this, so we can just go ahead and add those and add that. I am definitely happy with the way that this episode turned out. I'm glad that we were able to get to red science, the matrix science. I was a little worried about it. I thought that we would only have time for the oil processing, but thankfully that is not that difficult. And these are going to be lab research. All right, and then that leaves us room on the other side for any other sciences that we might have. We're definitely going to have at least yellow science coming through here on this. What, structural science? Where is structural science? Yes, structural science. So obviously there's a couple things that we need to queue up. So I'm going to queue up a couple of those in this episode before we end it. I am very excited to get to this thing. We have not made room for this on our mall, but we will. And that will be after we get to the logistics. So the first thing that we're going to want for all of this is the magnetic levitation. Once we unlock this, that will give us access to the next rank of belts and the next rank of sorter, which we have already kind of laid out. Then we get to the bots, thankfully. I think we need something else for the bots. Oh, we need the processors. Okay, so I guess we have already queued that up. We've already done that. That's great. But unfortunately, to have a little bit of an easier access getting to it, I mean, we can actually create it here because we do have some silicone, but we definitely want to get to the warp engines. Not warp engines, the mecha crews, which will allow us to go to different planets. And for that, we need the mecha core first, and then we can do that. And then I will continue to work on some of these off screen or in between episodes, let's say. Yeah, and then, oh yes. You want to queue up a few extras. We definitely need the diamonds. We will need this both for yellow science coming up, because that is the next goal, is the structural science, but we also need it for the next proliferator. We are queuing up. And just last thing, looking at the yellow science, we need diamonds. Diamonds are pretty easy. We just need coal into graphite, graphite into diamonds, and then we need the titanium crystals. The titanium crystals are a little bit more difficult. The chain for these are a little bit of a pain. We need the titanium crystal, which needs titanium and organic crystals, and the organic crystals need plastic, heavy refined oil, and water, and the plastic needs energized graphite and refined oil. So yeah, lots of stuff coming up, and we are going to start that in the next episode. So that is going to be it for me. I will see you in the next one, and thanks for watching.